Well, absolutely picturesque storm sweeping the plains, towering clouds, stunning videos of tornadoes.
All the ingredients were there for a pretty violent night, and the same general area facing another potentially dangerous night.
Yeah, there's a lot to watch for. Yesterday we had winds over 90 miles an hour in spots. Of course, the tornadoes you saw. Looking at the storm reports from yesterday, plenty of wind. Again, getting up in that 70, 80, 90 mile an hour range.
So another object lesson in how important it is to shelter for a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning, essentially the same way when the winds are going to be that strong. And we have that same front that's going to be taking its sweet time moving southward.
It's been kind of a bummer in keeping chances for storms high across some of the same areas as yesterday. We're looking at Nebraska, western South Dakota. So the eastern part of the state where we got really hit hard. Looks like you've got at least the isolated chance, but I think better odds in Nebraska.
So to add a little motivation to be storm ready tonight, if we can just be smart about staying off the roads and sheltering when there's a warning, these areas are going to get their reward later this week when this front comes through.
Yeah, that front is going to be dropping temperatures and other spots across the country getting that as well. We welcome you into Weather Unfiltered on this Tuesday. I'm Alex Wilson.
And I'm Dr. Rick Knabb, and we've got plenty to talk about in the tropics as the Central Pacific and then the East Pacific and then maybe the Atlantic start to light up as we head into August.
There are some signals and trends that we're going to be watching that could make things a bit more favorable. We'll be talking about that as well, but we do want to start with what's happening in active weather, the storm, right?
It's going to seem odd.
I would love to see that. All right, we want to head to the ballpark, get you your game day forecast presented by T-Mobile. Where are we going? There's a lot of Major League Baseball games still happening. Man, we would love to be at fall, right? Because it's playoff time, too. It's the Braves. They are taking on the Kansas City Royals. This game in Kansas City today at 6:40. It is going to be hot. Now, nothing the Braves and their fans aren't not used to. And unfortunately for Kansas City, I feel like you've been super used to it as well. So yet again, it's all about hydrating. You hear from the doctor, electrolytes, too, if you can. So if you want to pack those little electrolyte things that go into the water, that'll be helpful. And again, I know the beers are fun at the game, but make sure you are drinking plenty of liquid water. That's the important thing. All right, 88 at 8 o'clock with winds around 5 to 10, maybe a little breeze. The ballpark cotton candy.
It does.
So good.
And you know what makes me want to do? I wish I was really tall and I could go pop, pop,
right?
pop, pop.
Yeah.
Looks like bubble wrap.
It does look like bubble wrap. Isn't that the most sad package of that? Well, welcome into Weather Unfiltered on this Tuesday. I'm Alex Wilson.
And I'm Dr. Rick Knabb. You know, we've got some people in South Dakota spotting
what he took out of that little delivery thing. Just kidding. It's probably somebody's very important ice cream. Dr. Knabb, we could all use some of that today, couldn't we? I mean, man.
We peel the banana kind of thing where one peel for the Central Pacific, one peel for the East Pac, and then could the Atlantic be not far behind? And there's so much going on in the East Pacific where we've got the warm waters. Here's Iona, which is a Cat 3, but there's the Hawaiian Islands, and it's going to pass south of there, thankfully for them. And this is common for this time of year with the big ridge and the trade winds over Hawaii. And then there's another one. Here's Kaylee that's going to go south, but it's this little guy, so it's not going to last very long, and will also pass to the south. But this is important because this is the first basin to light up as the favorable conditions move from west to east.
Then, you know, I think a lot of people are going, all right, so if that's now, then when does the Atlantic light up? Because we still have, you know, favorable areas. The Eastern Pacific feels like it's been nonstop, and for us in the Atlantic, it's been fronts.
Yes, and there's all the convection, and then look at the East Pacific. We get another system into next week, and that is a tell that the Climate Prediction Center is noticing that the second week of August could be very busy in the East Pac, along with the frontal system we've been talking about maybe forming off the East Coast, and then could the main development region light up after that? It's all moving eastward.
All right, so, you know, don't think, it hasn't happened, it's not going to. There are some signals that... Well, really picturesque storms sweeping the plains. We've got towering clouds, really epic views of tornadoes.
Just amazing views of a night where all the ingredients were there for a very violent evening yesterday. And the same general area facing another dangerous night. Maybe fewer tornadoes, but still a lot of damaging wind potential and a flood risk.
Yeah, we've seen large hail as well out of storms today. Coming on the heels of a night that started with the tornadoes and hail and then transitioned to big wind.
Yeah, so we were urging everybody for good reason, I think, to not only shelter like you would for a tornado warning when it's a tornado warning, but do that during severe thunderstorm warnings. We had gusts 80, 90, nearly 100 miles an hour.
Wild winds, as you can imagine, doing some damage. Well, we've got storms pushing east, but some of the same areas also being hit. So we've got a little bit of everything through the rest of the week. You pointed out this system's not moving very quickly.
No, it's only edged a little farther to the south, so maybe less Minneapolis tonight, more Omaha, Des Moines.
And then we look at places across the mid-Atlantic and Northeast as well during the day tomorrow. You are watching Weather Unfiltered. I'm Alex Wilson.
And I'm Dr. Rick Knabb. We do have the active tropics to talk about, the Central Pacific, and then soon the East Pac, and how much longer will it be before the Atlantic starts to act up?
Isn't that the question, right? Let's start, though, with the active weather. Of course, got some very, very warm baseball games ahead, at least until the weekend, right? Dr. Knabb giving us a sense of what's coming our way Saturday, Sunday, even for some of you on Friday. But between now and then, still feeling the heat, very much so. Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Baltimore Orioles. This game tomorrow, just after lunchtime, 12:35 is the start time. Feels like temperatures will be into the triple digits, 101, 102 throughout the game. So pretty uncomfortable. You hope your seat's at least in the shade, but even still, not going to be great. Now in Chicago at Wright Field, the Philadelphia Phillies are in town. Game time is also tomorrow, 1:10. So yet another early afternoon ball game. We've got the chance of thunderstorms, I think, especially during the second half of the game. So later innings could see some hit or miss thunderstorms. Better chances as folks make their way home. So keep that in mind. With higher chances of rain and thunderstorms coming around 4, 5, 6 o'clock, you make your way home from that game, you may be fighting some less than ideal weather. Rockies taking on the Guardians tomorrow at 6:40. This one more comfortable. Game time temperatures even into the 70s.
Rainbows obviously have that circular shape because of the raindrops. This is more the ice crystals doing their dance.
The cloud always pretty. Like you feel like it's like a unicorn in the sky. It's something fun. And maybe a ticket. You're like, that feels lucky.
Now I gotta feel like I've never seen the cirrus clouds be that colorful. That was pretty amazing.
And there were a lot of colors in there. Usually it's just like very, faint or smaller, but that one, Georgetown, you had a really nice show.
And that's one of the reasons we call tonight's show Weather Unfiltered with Alex Wilson. I'm Dr. Rick Knabb, and we've got a lot of the same areas that dealt with storms yesterday dealing with it tonight. And of course, the South, you're just sitting in the soup.
Yeah. Well, some really picturesque storms swept through the plains, towering clouds, stunning videos, but not all pretty underneath those storms.
No, it was quite an evening with all the ingredients there for violent weather last night. And the same general area, just a little farther to the south, facing another dangerous night of a lot of lightning, maybe fewer tornadoes, but a lot of damaging wind potential and a flood risk as well.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of everything out there. Some similar zones, some differences compared to last night. Last night it was really South Dakota where it started. Hail, tornadoes, and winds over 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, and these complexes of storms can be very long-lived, and it's a little easier for them to strike a lot of people, a lot of towns, because they occupy a lot more real estate than an individual tornado would.
That's a great point. And, after another night, after that night, we have got another night in the plains with storms bringing wind and hail. And then tomorrow, we look at some of our Northeast cities.
Yeah, and the two maps here are connected because the storms that are forming over like Nebraska and Iowa tonight, that's going to be a big complex of storms that lasts all night and pushes eastward into Illinois and Indiana tomorrow and helps to kick off more storms along that front that goes all the way to the northeast.
So yet again, overnight storms will be an issue. You are watching Weather Unfiltered. We're glad you are on this Tuesday. I'm Alex Wilson.
And I'm Dr. Rick Knabb, and we are also watching the state of Hawaii. And you might be thinking, well, waves hours later. So the benefit for Hawaii is they have the benefit of time to investigate this, to see if it actually generated a tsunami, how much of that energy is aimed at Hawaiian Islands, and then, Civil Defense and the Weather Service will work together to get the word out. But the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, those are the folks who are investigating the data to see if a tsunami was actually generated.
Yeah, now are they just looking at buoys? Is that the main source of data?
Buoys and modeling.
Yeah.
It's a combination of things. But then if they determine it has been generated, then the models will take over, and then they will alert Civil Defense and Weather Service to start communicating the risk so people can start taking action.
All right, we're going to continue to follow that. We have truly an expert here, somebody who's lived through it, I would imagine then everyone gets alerts and the people who need to move.
Yeah, if a tsunami warning is issued, then it's in all likelihood you would hear sirens sounded by civil defense in Hawaii.
All right, so we'll again follow that here on the Weather Channel here on Weather Unfiltered. We've also got a lot going on here. Continue to break as we talk to you. The initial earthquake, over an 8 magnitude earthquake,
and 8.7,
which is
that's
crazy
big.
intense when we talk about these earthquakes. So significant ones that you may feel are going to be in that 5 to 6 scale. And remember, they go up 10 times in intensity between a 5 to a 6 and then a 6 to a 7, for example. There's the tsunami watch, as you mentioned, Dr. Nab, all along the West Coast from Clearwater and Tillamook down to Oceanside and San Diego.
So we already know that we've had that earthquake in the Northwest Pacific near Russia, near the Kamchatka Peninsula. We already know it has generated a tsunami. What is going on with the watch on the West Coast is trying to determine whether or not there is a tsunami threat to the West Coast. The watch they're still investigating. With Hawaii, though, what they have done is done the investigation and determined there is a threat to Hawaii, and so the warning is up. Now, we are at 2:51 p.m. Hawaii time. The estimation of when the first tsunami waves could arrive is 7:17 p.m. Hawaii time. So we still got a few hours to go. And those would just be the arrival time of the very first waves.
Yeah.
The first waves might not be the largest, and they could come in, several sets over a long period of time.
You can get sessions of these,
yes.
So it's not just one singular wave in a lot of these cases. So again, the threat has been determined to be significant enough. And I know, Dr. Nab, you told us it's not necessarily, just those north-facing beaches, but the entire coastal areas of those islands.
Oh, absolutely, because the energy of a tsunami wave, it's going 500 miles an hour across the open ocean. It'll slow down and grow in size, but it can wrap around the islands and get into places that aren't directly facing the direction from which the waves are coming from the northwest. But now, because the earthquake was just to the southwest of Alaska, the threat is a lot more imminent and going to happen a lot sooner.
Yes, so we go from the tsunami warnings to the tsunami advisories. Again, that magnitude 8.7 earthquake, for some perspective of where this is, it is off the coast of Russia. So Japan here, of course, we look at, parts of Alaska, as you pointed out, it's going to be there much sooner than the Hawaiian Islands.
Yep, and that epicenter is just off the Kamchatka Peninsula, so it's very close to land there, but it is over water, and those tsunami waves are going to be traveling across the Pacific, past Hawaii, all the way to the west coast of North America.
All right, so a story we, of course, will continue to follow for you with that tsunami.
Because we've got enough to worry about with the tsunami warning. The two systems here in the Central Pacific are occurring over warm enough waters that are south of Hawaii. Here is a Cat 3 hurricane, Iona. There's the Hawaiian Islands. This is going to miss well to the south. Now, it is going to send swells from the south, but it will be weakening as it goes west. And then right behind it is Tropical Storm Kaylee that is going to get sheared apart by the outflow from the major hurricane. So that's not a big threat. But then right on the other side of the boundary between Central and East Pacific is another system with a high chance to develop. And then we go over off the coast of Mexico.
Now we're in the Eastern Pacific.
Yeah, this is the Eastern Pacific Basin that doesn't have any active storms right now, but it's about to light up. 80% chance the next 2 days, and in the same spot, a 50-50 shot over the next week. So watch how the Central Pacific storms move west, and then watch the East Pac light up. There's the first one.
So everybody wondering, okay, something's clearly happening here. We're getting one after another after another. What's preventing or precluding that in the Atlantic? Aren't we getting close to that time of year where we would maybe expect something like this?
Well, you see these three systems the models are forecasting the East Pac. That is a tell that the conditions are going from the Central Pacific to the East Pacific, and now to the Atlantic, at least in terms of a frontal boundary. But with the East Pac lighting up for the next couple of weeks, it won't be long after that before we have the possibility of something forming far out in the main development
Where we would
region.
expect, yes.
Right. But in the meantime, we got to worry about this front that's going to be dangling off the southeast coast into next week, and with a tropical wave moving in behind that. So that might be the first place to watch, then the tropical Atlantic in a couple of weeks.
For you tonight, unfolding right now from Hawaii to the West Coast, we are under tsunami watches and warnings.
Yeah, it is about 4 hours and 15 minutes away. The first tsunami waves that could arrive in the state of Hawaii around 7:17 p.m. Hawaii time right now, coming up on 3 o'clock.
So the benefit, at least I would think, is that it is going to be daytime here. So folks are up and about. You've said the tsunami warning. Now they're going to have the sirens for folks who need to move, get to a safe spot. And then, of course, we've still got the tsunami watches all along the West Coast, from Washington all the way down to the U.S.-Mexico border.
Yeah, and the